Welcome back to another episode of Ballers, Beers, and Banter. I'm your host, Dave. Here with me, a couple of Hall of Famers in my books, Anthony and Moose.
What's
up?
Simultaneous. Just how I like it.
My voice cracked a little bit.
Were you gonna name two Hall of Famers? I was a little bit. I was taken off guard there because usually there's two names that follow.
All right. Well, we'll go with two Hall of Famers who are being inducted this weekend. So Peyton Manning and John Lynch.
All right.
Or Calvin Johnson. One of you guys want to be Calvin Johnson?
I'll be Calvin Johnson.
Yeah.
Anthony's like, don't be too excited to be Megatron. Which Moose leaves you as Peyton or John Lynch?
I'll be Peyton.
Yeah, you can be Peyton today. Yeah. You can be Peyton. You got the forehead for it, I think.
I was gonna say with my hairline, I've got the forehead for it.
Peyton was mixed. So, of course, the Hall of Fame game this evening. We're recording Thursday, August 5th. And football is back, boys. And ladies and gentlemen who are listening, we could not be more excited. So the Hall of Fame game is wrapping up as we record the podcast tonight. Dallas versus Pittsburgh. And, of course, it's Hall of Fame weekend and the 2021 class getting inducted. So that's why you guys get the honor of being Megatron and Peyton Manning.
And every year, it could be the greatest yet.
Yep. Every year.
Every year.
Every year could be the greatest?
Well,
the greatest lineup.
Yeah. every year they go, this could be the greatest lineup in the history
ever to
of
be inducted in
football.
Hall of Fame. Well, I mean, Calvin Johnson is one of the best receivers of all time. Peyton Manning, I don't know if I think he's getting edged out by Brady as the GOAT, but he revolutionized the game unlike any other with changing the play at the line of scrimmage, having multiple plays in
I know, but they just say that it's the same thing every year. This could be the greatest lineup.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get you. Well, maybe they're just getting better and better every year. The NFL keeps getting better.
Troy Polamalu.
That is not even
give
close.
one more crack.
I
don't know how to say the end of his name.
Polamalu. No, let him try.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Anthony.
Let's go, Anthony.
Troy Polamalu.
Nailed it. Sorry, I'm sorry.
You should have let him.
Hard.
Well, apparently it was.
Well, I'll do it again for the people. I said it wrong. Polamalu is what I said first, but it's
a classic Anthony slip.
Troy Polamalu.
Yeah, Polamalu.
But I'm like rubbing off on you guys on our new app that we have a live show on. We had a Chubbs appearance by Moose.
Okay.
Throwing an S.
Hold on. You better clarify what the Chubbs appearance means.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Adding an S to the end of someone's name is not even close to whatever you just said.
No, yeah. I know, but I've done the Benny Snells before. So that's like the Benny Snells.
Okay. But
all right.
Yes, I know.
If it was just Benny Snells, we could forgive it, but
so what Anthony was referencing for our listeners out there was our new partnership with Halftime Sports. So we're super excited about this partnership, and Halftime Sports is an app you can download in the App Store. Go get it if you haven't already. And it's a really cool platform. It's a one-stop shop experience for sports. Started out as basketball, now it's got football, it's got fantasy, and basically they have anybody can host chat rooms where you can message and talk up any sports subject you want. No negativity, no toxic behavior permitted. Only constructive and quality comments.
Positive vibes.
And they've tabbed a few official content creators to be hosting official shows in the app. So we are one of those. We're honored to be one of those shows. So our weekly time slot is Wednesdays, 9:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 p.m. Pacific, where we'll be doing kind of the same things we do now. But what's so cool about the app, and I love this, guys, was we can invite, or people can ask, or we can invite people up to the stage. It's called being on stage, and you get to participate and ask questions and chat. And we had a couple guys, give them a shout out, Chris238 and VO23, who were just chatting it up with us the whole time. It was fantastic.
His name was not Chris238.
Smooth.
It was Smooth238.
Smooth238. Did I say Chris?
You did.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm not even sure what you said. You're talking so fast, but
I'm sorry.
Dave is wired. Football's back.
Apologize, Moose. I will slow it down.
It's not for me. It's not for me.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. It's for the listeners.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, everybody go get Halftime Sports app, and we'll see you on Wednesday. That was super fun. Okay, guys, Hall of Fame game. Football's back. We're going to go from now until Super Bowl. There will be football every weekend, right?
Beautiful.
For the next 27 weeks.
27 weeks. Oh, we really earned this. We waited for this. Well, really all we did was wait, but we waited patiently, and we're excited. Anthony, did you have something?
Yeah, I wanted to, we had teased or had talked about in our last episode that we were doing our dynasty draft. I want to say congratulations to both of you and myself. We drafted super well. Beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. It was our first draft of the off season, and I mean, I'm stoked. Preseason's here. We're drafting. It's crazy.
Speaking of rookies, last episode we were talking about Cadre. It seems like the two E's makes an A sound because everybody's calling him Najee Harris instead of Najee Harris.
They're calling him Najee?
Najee. The same way that you said Quadre. So maybe two E's makes the A sound. I have no idea.
Huh.
So once again, nobody emailed us to let us know, but if you know, send us a message.
And if you don't know, now you know. Right? Huh? No, never. Fine, never mind. Anthony's tired. Let's get this train rolling here. Anthony's all
just unimpressed.
Past his bedtime. Yeah,
just unimpressed.
Unimpressed. Okay, guys, the big news we touched on last podcast episode, I believe. Definitely talked about it on halftime yesterday a bunch. Is that Carson Wentz had elected to have foot surgery. But news is positive. After his surgery, it went well, apparently, and he's expected to miss more like 7 weeks is the timeline I heard, which might not be that bad. He might only miss like 2 weeks of the regular season. So not so bad. So maybe we can re-hype our Michael Pittman Jr., Paris Campbell takes, our Jonathan Taylors. What do you think?
Yeah. So, sorry, what was the timeline you had heard?
7?
Yeah, it's 5 to 7 weeks instead of 5 to 12.
Oh, okay. Because it was Ian Rappaport who said 7. Like a doctor hasn't said 7. He came out yesterday and he said successful surgery. We're probably looking at 7 weeks.
Well, I'm sure Ian Rappaport is not like looking at the X-rays and being like, yeah, it's 7.
But that's why it was
somewhere.
That's why the 5 to 12 weeks was.
No, I think he quite literally pulled that number out of a hat.
No, he didn't.
No.
Come
so
on.
basically,
it's between 5 and 12.
Yeah, but this is what I was
before
going to
the
say.
surgery.
Yes. So when they say out indefinitely, they said 5 to 12 weeks because depending on how the surgery goes, if it's a success, if there is, I don't know, some mishaps during the surgery, it could, at worst case scenario, it was 12. Anything not that bad, well, you can start to cut off weeks. So, I mean, maybe the doctor said, because Ian Rappaport is locked in and tied in with so many people that maybe somebody threw out the number 7 to him.
He's talking to agents. He's talking to, assistant coaches and
team
assistant
doctors.
GMs and scouts. And like, come on.
Yeah, none of those people sound like they're doctors.
No, but they're in the know, Moose.
Oh,
they're
right.
in the know.
Right.
Yeah, they're part of the organization. Word
but
travels.
Still, so missing 2 weeks instead of 4 of the regular season. I mean, I'm still dropping Pittman a little bit further than where I had him before. I'm still skeptical about it because if he doesn't get off to a hot start and then, he builds another receiver builds a rapport with the backup, and then Wentz comes in, maybe you'll have growing pains to get back into the swing of things. So
until you see Wentz running, nothing should change.
Yeah, well,
all it takes is a re-aggravation, and then we're looking at 12 weeks again.
Hopefully, we encourage everyone to draft as late as possible. Yeah. So we draft the week of the first regular season game in our main leagues. So hopefully by then you'll know, or by your draft time you'll know. But Moose is right. If there's question marks surrounding it, you treat it as if he's not going to be available, and that's how the team's going to operate. Yeah. What's really interesting is the Colts. The Colts have said, no, we're not going to trade for Nick Foles or Gardner Minshew or Jimmy Garoppolo. But the latest rumors are that Phillip Rivers is available to come out of retirement to lead the Colts, the Wentzless Colts.
Apparently it's not just the Colts. He said he'd play for
anywhere.
He said he'd play. He said he was willing to come back and help out any team that might be struggling at quarterback later in the season.
Yeah, later in the season because he's coaching right now. So it would have to be towards the end of the season.
I really thought he was saying it specifically because of the Colts situation.
Well, I think that's probably what prompted it. It's probably what prompted it, but
is he coaching one of his 43 kids?
I believe so.
Oh, okay. Is the full Rivers team? Like, does he?
I mean, he has enough kids.
Can he roster?
Field,
can he roster
he has
a
enough
whole
kids
team?
to field a team.
I think so.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And some other news for the Indianapolis Colts. Quenton Nelson has the same injury that Carson Wentz has. For him, it's still 5 to 12 weeks, I guess, until he has successful surgery. I'm putting in quotations.
He had it the day after Carson.
Okay, but they didn't put his down to 7.
It was a 2-for-1. It was a 2-for-1 discount.
So they didn't put his down to 7, but I mean that's not good either. But
I guess he wasn't talking to the right agents.
Yeah, apparently not.
And people in the know.
But I think the only person I'm still drafting and not really dropping that far from the Colts is Jonathan Taylor. I might drop him a spot. I think I did drop him in my rankings by 1 spot, but yeah.
Yeah, it won't be so bad if it's a short amount of Wentz list time.
Yeah, but let's just dip into this real quick here.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So let's say they roll with Jacob Eason. Could he be worse than Phillip Rivers last year?
Yes, 100%. 100%. In fact, could be much worse.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes, Phillip Rivers. Okay, I will grant you, Phillip Rivers was throwing terrible balls, but he knows how to read defenses. He's comfortable running the offense. He knows what they need to know, where the balls need to go.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Plus, those guys.
But I don't think that's going to impact Jonathan Taylor.
Everything, how efficient the offense is running impacts the running back, unfortunately. Right?
Yeah.
And Jonathan Taylor was already, like I said, he was already in line for huge volume. Like he was already going to get rushed the ball like 300 times. He was never going to be featured that much in the passing game. This doesn't increase how much he's going to be featured in the passing game. So I don't think there could be many more touches than what, because people had him. People were taking him 6th overall in drafts, obviously, and he doesn't catch many passes. So people were projecting him to be like almost Derrick Henry like, right?
Yeah,
for a season. So it's not like he's going to get more touches. And then you have to factor in the efficiency of the offense, fewer red zone opportunities, that whole shebang. So, but hopefully Wentz comes back and everything's okay. And hopefully he's good.
Yeah. And I know there was buzz that they might trade for a Gardner Minshew or a Nick Foles, but they're not doing that. They said they're not looking for a trade at this moment.
So are either of you taking Jonathan Taylor in the first round?
Yes.
I would, yes.
So nothing's changed. You're still burning. You're still burning a first round on him.
Well, it depends, right? Because normally, so I would have taken him comfortably at the 6th spot. Now at that 6th spot, I would probably lean Nick Chubb, Aaron Jones, with my 6th spot pick.
Okay, but
before him,
but someone's taking him in the first round, so he's still first round tender. So nothing's changed really.
Not much. Not a dramatic change. No. Is that satisfy you, Miss?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
You guys made it sound like it was a devastating change, but he's still going to get first round fantasy points.
Well, it was also before the new timeline on Wentz. If Wentz is out the whole year or half the year, then I would drop him out. I might drop him out of the first round. I may.
And so where in the second round would you take him?
Early second round.
I have him ranked as
in the first half of the second round.
Yeah, probably.
Who's this?
Jonathan Taylor. If Wentz was out for the whole season.
Oh,
that's still not even that bad.
It's quite a difference.
Going from my view on him was that he was going to be he has the potential to finish top 3 running back. If you don't have your lead QB, it's a pretty big, like, even though it doesn't seem that bad dropping him like early second or mid second, it's still a pretty big drop off. Like now you're in the range where you don't achieve that like people aren't viewing you as that top 3 guy anymore. So that's a pretty big drop. And a guy like Najee Harris, you might be willing to take a shot on because they're healthy right now. I know their offensive line is an issue, or just throw in another guy like an Eckler might just seem more enticing because of the receiving ability and Herbert being there. So, I mean, for now,
Herbert,
2 games. If he's only missing 2 games, I think you still take him at the back half of the first round.
Wentz, that is,
yeah.
Speaking of Najee Harris, Moose, how did Najee Harris look tonight?
I don't know. I I was doing a bunch of stuff, and I had I thought I was on the game on DAZN because it was all the pre-show stuff was like, oh, we're getting ready for the game, and I was doing a bunch of stuff, and I was looking, and it was like 10:08, and I was like, that's strange, like it must be a delay or something, game's not on. Then I realized that I was stuck on the NFL Network, and although everybody was talking about the game starting, it didn't switch over to the game starting, so I flipped out and got back to the game. And I think I just saw Najee's first run where he got a first down. On his first run, he got a first down. Well, but then nice. It was I don't know, it was a little underwhelming, but I mean,
yeah, well, it's hard to tell with these games.
First time ever.
Both offenses were really struggling.
I'll tell you this though,
for a while.
I'll tell you this because this is always important with the rookie running backs. He was not afraid to block. He was throwing his body in front of defenders and putting up blocks, which is awesome.
No, he's the whole package. He's the whole package. Najee Harris is the whole package.
I'm gonna stick with the Najee.
I like Najee better. It rolls.
Najee's
better.
way better.
Yeah.
The highlight.
There's no accent.
Dude, I'm just telling you. That's how Troy Aikman was saying it.
Yeah, and Troy's never wrong. To me, the best. I don't know. I'm a Steelers fan, so I'm biased. But the coolest part of the Hall of Fame game was the Pittsburgh rookie punter.
That was a great punt.
Oh my goodness, he had a couple great punts, and he's a big man. And anytime you draft a kicker in the actual draft, you're hoping that they're pretty dominant because normally you just pick them up. They go on draft and you just sign people. But he was looking good. What's his name? I'm gonna have to get his name. I've forgotten it, but we'll drum it up for later. But he can punt. He can punt. The place kickers, terrible. If you're ever on the waiver wire later in the year and Sam Sloman comes up, do not take him. And who is the Dallas place kicker tonight? Because the 2 starters are out, right? Boswell and Zerline were out. But you're the big kicker guy, Moose. Don't take either of these guys on waivers.
All I know is clearly from what I saw from this is that if anybody on Dallas gets injured, it's a disaster. Because if these were the backups playing, they did not look good.
Well, it was deep backups. Some guys won't even make the team. But if Dak Prescott misses any time, it's going to be a disaster. Because remember, last year they had Andy Dalton. Last year they had Andy Dalton to come in, and he was very adequate, if not decent. These backup quarterbacks, oh my goodness, Rush and DiNucci, and who's the other one? I don't know.
Garrett
Gilbert. They were terrible. So, and Mason Rudolph, Moose, terrible.
Oh, Mason Rudolph looks like he did when he played for that season. It's like he was like, oh, it was good enough. Don't need to improve. Like he just looked the exact same, like deer in the headlights.
Yeah. Could he get cut? Because it's going to be Josh Dobbs is going to be the backup. He looked okay. Dwayne Haskins is better.
How about your boy Haskins?
No. In fact, this is the order right now. It's obviously Big Ben Roethlisberger. Mason was, because Mason was already there, he was given the opportunity. Like it was his job to lose. He's going to lose it.
He's going to lose it.
Then it's Haskins. Then it's Dobbs. Don't forget they already released Dobbs once, and he went over to Jacksonville. And then Jacksonville released him, and they picked him back up. So they're not very high on Dobbs.
Well, I think they're comfortable with him because he knows the offense.
Yeah, right. And plus, it's good for training camp. So you get a guy in that already knows what's going on. So he might,
But I think Haskins is the backup. Yeah. I mean, it's been rave reviews about Haskins out of Pittsburgh. So they're very happy with Haskins and what he's been doing.
He could be good. He has an opportunity to be the next quarterback for the Steelers, like full-time quarterback.
Yeah. Oof. And I mean, he looked good. He looked good tonight.
That's the opportunity. I mean, they don't, who else, Anthony? And they're going to finish
with
like
what they have now, but
yeah.
I mean,
Haskins didn't by no means look like incredible tonight, but he definitely looked more confident. He was making more appropriate passes. And I mean, it was with the backups as well. But I mean, he didn't look like an absolute tire fire.
No,
he looked better than DiNucci.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh gosh, yeah. Don't Nucci draft him. All right, enough Hall of Fame game talk and the such. Let's continue on with some important headlines. Seriously, we talked to Wentz, we talked that whole business. Giants, New York Giants. Anthony, talk to us about the New York Giants.
Well, they're a tire fire because
New York.
There was a fight at camp, and Daniel Jones was at the bottom of the pile, and that was the big news. But then now there was an update today that Kenny Golladay, earlier in the week, he had walked off with a hamstring injury. We didn't know how serious it was. He's going to miss 2 to 3 weeks. I mean, it's not good. One of his 2 injuries last year was a hamstring issue. So, I mean, I have dropped Golladay in my rankings quite a bit. I have him like 24th wide receiver just because.
But that's where he's being drafted.
Yeah, I've seen him go a little higher too. Yeah. But I mean, I think the name might get him drafted earlier, but I think it would be a big mistake. It seems like everybody on the Giants is just like a no-go this year, providing. Well, Saquon.
Knock on wood here, but
if you're with me,
yeah, Kenny Galladay's hamstring injuries sound very familiar to a certain Will Fuller's hamstring injuries as well,
or Julio. I was going to say Julio, who plays through them.
Yeah, but Golladay doesn't really play through them. Golladay is off the field.
You know, I've been thinking about about Golladay, and initially I was like, this is a steal. This is a potential wide receiver 1 going in the 4th or 5th round. And now I'm like, I don't know. When push comes to shove, if I'm on the clock, if I'm going to click his name with other players, like Moose mentioned in our live show yesterday, like players like Ayuk and T. Higgins, around there, Chase Claypool, people that could be home runs as well. We just haven't seen it from them yet, but probably safer picks from an injury standpoint.
Yeah, I honestly, New York is looking like it's going to be a disaster.
You know what I was thinking? Why? And they had this brawl. I was thinking because the New York defense is much improved. It's supposed to be much improved. They got a Doherty Jackson cornerback, got drafted a few players. It's supposed to be much, much better. And I was thinking maybe the offense just isn't used to playing a good defense in camp, and they didn't know how to handle it. They're like, "What is this?
No,
we're getting tackled."
Apparently, it was a late hit at the end of a play.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah,
and then
I mean, the only one you're drafting there is Saquon. But even if you're drafting him early,
are you?
Well, I have him lower than. Do I have him lower than Jonathan Taylor? I think I have him 1 spot ahead because
from the Wentz.
I think he'll start. Like, if we get more news that he's gonna miss time for sure, then he's definitely gonna drop. But
drop it like it's hot.
I don't know. It's hard.
We mentioned on the live show that the big concern for me is with a star like Saquon. You'd think you'd be hearing more positive news as soon as there was positive news, and it's. There hasn't been. It's just sort of been. We had those 2 not very positive articles, and then that's it. There's been no real update. So, however, I did see today that he was walking and jogging around at camp. Apparently, he was doing some cuts here and there, and it looked all right. So, by that account, things are probably getting better.
Well, yay. All right, other news. You're sticking with injuries, or I had thought when we were talking about QBs and trading for QBs of the Colts, I thought of Deshaun Watson immediately. That popped in my head, but then we kind of moved on to other things. So the latest, apparently Philadelphia, the Eagles, who have the draft capital to make a big deal for Deshaun Watson, a big swap, were potentially inquiring. There was rumors. We don't know if they're substantiated or not, but apparently news today is that the Texans are not returning anyone's phone calls about Deshaun Watson again.
And I think all this buzz came out because like to our surprise and everyone else's surprise, when camp started, he did show up. Then as the week went on, apparently he was playing a different position at camp and then running with the third stringers or something like that. So, I mean,
well, they're just keeping him healthy.
Yeah, but then he stopped showing up, and when the news came out.
He has cramps in his foot or something.
Yeah, every day it's something else.
In his leg or something. Yeah. But I'm sure it's they just don't want him there. You know, obviously at this time there's a certain negativity that's surrounding him, and I'm sure they just don't want him at camp. So they're where you have a minor injury designation, we know you would show up to camp, just go somewhere else. It's understood, kind of thing. You know,
especially if they feel they need to give Tyrod Taylor or another quarterback the first team reps to get them ready to start the season, then Deshaun Watson would just be a bit of a distraction there with all the other things going on.
That's it. So I'm sure I'm sure they just wanted him to show up to show the public that Deshaun would show up, you know, and that whatever the NFL's decision is, they'll allow him to play whatever the result is so far with his legal issues. And then I'm sure they just said, hey, just go home. And you're a distraction at camp. I'm sure the players are asking him tons of questions all the time and things. So that's my view on it. Maybe he does actually have a small injury, but I don't know.
Probably. I just found the headline. I always find the headline Houston not returning anyone's calls to be hilarious. Like I think I'm picturing an official Houston Texans iPhone like in the office, and then it's just bringing and it's like Nick Sirianni's face or Philadelphia Eagles like incoming. They're like ignore.
Yeah. Someone just picks up and hangs up.
Answer, hang up.
Yeah. And apparently they want 3 first rounders for him, something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're getting calls, you're going to be terrible. Just answer the calls and trade him away. He doesn't want to be there.
That's why Philly's linked to Deshaun Watson, because they have 3 first-round picks in the next 2 years.
The rumor is, Anthony, is that they're hoping that if they wait long enough, Deshaun Watson will change his mind and want to play for the Texans.
Yeah,
that's
silly.
How can you not? When you go to camp, you see Mark Ingram, Philip Lindsay, David Johnson on crutches. Like, I mean, yeah, it's a 2016 All-Star team. So I don't know how you wouldn't.
Brandon, are you guys drafting anyone from this team?
I would consider Brandon Cooks, depending how late I can get him. Like if you get Brandon Cooks in round 10,
so this is providing that Deshaun Watson is not there.
Even if Deshaun Watson's not there, I think Brandon Cooks is worth a pick, a late Marquise de mid-round pick.
Oh no! Not for me. I don't.
Yeah, I'm not touching
I really like Tyrod Taylor. I always have said a few times on the podcast. I always have a soft spot for Kiki QT. I mean, he showed flashes last season, but I just don't, like you said, Dave, the team it feels like, remember that movie, The Replacements? Just like a ragtag band of players. And I don't think it'll be as positive as that movie ended.
Well, if Keanu Reeves was available in my draft, I'd be taking him. So
yeah, I just it's hard to look at the Texans this season and feel positive vibes.
Yeah, they're gonna be terrible, but I mean, look at terrible teams last year and
tell us how you really feel.
But they're gonna be terrible for sure. Yeah. They're probably last place in the league. Like I think the Jets have improved.
We have a beer bet. Remember?
Oh, what is it? What?
I said there would be worse teams than the Texans.
Is this another one of those beer bets where you have the rest of the field and we have one person or one team?
No, because
you only get yourself involved in these beer bets. I didn't want this.
Yeah. You said, I don't remember exactly what it was, but you said the Texans would be dead last, and I said, no way. I
stand by that. Who's gonna be worse? Jacksonville?
Giants.
No, the Giants won't be that bad. The Giants playing a terrible division.
One of the New York teams might be either one of the New York teams could be a disaster.
The Jets could be. The Giants won't. The Giants will be close to 500, if not above. and they're gonna be in the hunt to win the division. All those teams are gonna be in the hunt to win the division for most of the year because it's terrible. It's a terrible division. And what is it? NFC West, East?
I don't know.
NFC East, least.
Yeah, Tennessee East. I don't know,
NFC
man.
West is the best division.
I don't know. I think they're the worst out of those 4 teams. I think Cowboys, Washington, and even the Eagles are better than New York at this point.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
Okay, let's cross them off here. Cowboys, substantially better
than the Giants.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Yeah. I don't know about substantially.
Healthy, substantially better.
Fine. Are they better?
Yes.
Thank you.
Sure.
Washington.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes. Now this is where it gets kind of close. And Dave, if you think Jalen Hurts has top 5 upside
in fantasy football, but in real football, Philadelphia would be much worse than the Giants.
I mean, how much worse could they be?
The Giants first of all, the Giants were drum up their record. They were pretty good last year, and they've got substantially better. They drafted well. They picked up Adoree Jackson, as I said, as cornerback. He's a star cornerback, overpaid for him, but that's fine.
Yeah, I think their defense might save their butts.
Their defense is supposed to be much improved.
Okay, but I mean, even still, so it's we'll call it like just they scraping by over a tie with Philly. I mean, I'm not excited by either of the New York teams.
We got the beer bet.
Yeah,
we got the beer bet. All right, here's some more headlines, Anthony.
I want to shoot over to Jacksonville for some hype news. Travis Etienne.
It's a quick drive. It's a quick drive from New York to Jacksonville. Easy, East Coast.
Travis Etienne and DJ Chark looking uncoverable at practice.
No, they are uncoverable. They're not looking uncoverable. The headline is they are uncoverable.
Are uncoverable.
Yeah, and if you tuned into the Halftime Sports live show yesterday, you would have heard my joke, which was, when I think that, all I can think of is how bad the Jacksonville defense is. So, uncoverable ... by the Jacksonville defense.
What the journalists aren't telling you is the defense wasn't even on the field.
Oh, they're on the field. But talk about bad defenses, Jacksonville.
But what I mentioned for fantasy purposes, the Travis Etienne news I'm buying into because I think he can be a league winner. We on the live show, we were comparing him. Maybe it's too early to compare him to Alvin Kamara, but we said it might be Alvin Kamara-esque in the sense that when Alvin Kamara came into the league, nobody thought, like, you had Adrian Peterson there. He was backing him up. Nobody really drafted him. We talked about Moose picking him up off the waiver wire and winning the league that year because he killed it at the end. So I think Travis Etienne...
Real quick, that year, was Mark Ingram also still with the Saints?
The Kamara year?
Yeah.
It's... so you're saying
yes,
Ingram, Kamara, Peterson?
Because they had a year together.
Yeah, probably.
It was Peterson, Ingram, and Kamara.
So that's what was even crazier about that, is that Kamara would have been the RB3 on that team at the start of the season.
Yeah, but basically what it was Ingram first, Kamara second. And so I think it's going to be this similar with James Robinson, obviously not age-wise, but James Robinson getting maybe at the start of the season the first go at the touches, and then Travis Etienne, as the season goes on, will get more and more, and I think he'll be a league winner. I really think he'll take off towards the middle back half of the season and help people win their leagues.
Yeah, and I say it time and time again, but I want some piece of that Jacksonville offense because someone's going off with Trevor Lawrence there. He's going to find a connection and a rhythm with somebody. Could be Travis Etienne, DJ Chark, could be Laviska Shenault. Probably not all of them, but one of them is going to be super.
Well, Dave,
super good.
Dave, I don't know if you've heard.
What?
DJ Chark is uncoverable.
He's uncoverable. He is uncoverable. He's uncoverable. There, to be fair, DJ Chark did have half a season, not last season, but the year before, where he was uncoverable in the NFL, and he was the 4th best wide receiver for half a year, and then sort of kind of tapered off there. So
yeah,
but that was with Minshew. That was with Minshew.
Drafted him last year. He burned you, and I will not be taking a chance on him. So if I'm buying into the hype,
take a chance on me.
I'm buying into the hype on Etienne, not on DJ Chark.
Which DJ do you hype?
DJ Moore.
Oh, I was thinking like music DJ. I thought they were gonna be like DJ Tiesto or
Jazzy Jeff.
DJ Jazzy Jeff.
Jazzy Jeff.
That's a DJ. Him and Will Smith, man, those are the days. All right. Summertime. Anthony, hit us for the next headline, dude.
Some
all over
smaller
the place,
news.
We talked Eagles, but we forgot DeVonta Smith.
Yeah, so let's get into that. So similar to a different injury, but similar to Kenny Golladay, DeVonta Smith will miss 2 to 3 weeks with a knee sprain, which is not good because everybody's hyping up Jalen Hurts. And we mentioned, I think last week, that Jalen Reagor had an injury and he was...
Lower body injury.
Yeah, lower body injury.
Lower what? Lower butter?
Lower butter.
The old lower butter injury.
I've always been an upper butter guy.
Anyways, so it's not good for Jalen Hurts if you're looking to draft him.
Just butter the upper part of your toast so you can grab the bread, the toast with your whole hand and then be like, the butter part's good.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, Anthony. Can you?
All good.
Sorry to butter in there.
Yeah, we're just. Go ahead.
He's always the butt end of our jokes.
But no, Philly's not. Their offense, I think, is going to be atrocious. Like, I think Jalen Hurts maybe will have some value in fantasy. I don't think he'll be a top 12 QB. But
hey, don't butter him up too much.
That was good. Keep going, Anthony. Don't get so sidetracked.
Yeah, but I'm not drafting DeVonta Smith. I'm probably not going to draft Jalen Hurts. And I mean, I think with all this news that's coming out, especially with our other headlines, it appears that there are so many dead zones for fantasy.
Oh yeah, Philly's another team, same as New England. Like, I want no part of Philly for fantasy.
Like right now, it seems like Giants, Philly, Miami, Jets, Houston. There are so many teams.
Yeah,
and I mean, it's crazy right now how bad some of these teams are looking.
Yeah.
Well, but I mean, yeah,
you need some bad teams, otherwise there'd be no good teams.
Yeah, there's a lot of bad teams this year.
So wise.
Yeah. Just I'll rattle off some other injuries that are maybe significant. So another dead zone for maybe offense for fantasy. The Baltimore Ravens, Marquise Brown to be sidelined for a bit. I mean, it's awful over there as far as the receivers go.
I mean, I think
besides
the only
Mark
dead
Andrews.
zone, the only dead zone in Baltimore is the receivers outside of Mark Andrews.
Yeah, that's what Anthony's
exactly.
saying.
Yeah,
that's what he's saying. Yeah.
But I mean, it's not. I mean, you still have Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews, you have Dobbins.
Yeah, but I mean, there's only so many.
Gus Edwards. Great backup pick.
But this goes with all the other teams. I mean, Philly, it's the 2 receivers we're talking about. Giants, all the receivers are the issue. Houston, you're not taking any of those receivers, and now we're going to Baltimore.
I'm telling you, it's going to be. It's just John Ross season. It's going to happen.
And then,
but real quick, also, I saw during the game, someone posted Lamar Jackson, who currently has COVID. Is he's out and about getting his haircut.
Well, hold on then. He wouldn't be out and about getting his haircut unless he was like, it was a while ago he tested positive for COVID now. He's probably in the clear.
It just popped up. I don't know how credible it is, but it popped up and there's a photo of him at what looks like a hairdresser's getting his haircut.
Yeah, I mean, Moose, who's this person talking to? Are they talking directly to the hairdresser? Are they the hairdresser? Like, come on. Are they talking to the scouts, the agents?
It's Lamar Jackson in the chair.
How do we know?
How do we know what? That it's Lamar Jackson?
Not buying it.
He's only able to return from the COVID-19 list on Friday. So tomorrow.
I was just bugging you because of your Ian Rappaport slander. Being like, how does he know 7 weeks? That's what I was joking about.
Oh, yeah, but Lamar Jackson's currently on the COVID reserve list.
Okay.
Yeah. And then to go somewhere else with some more receiver options, with more receiver issues, the Saints. We had talked about the receivers, who's going to step up when Michael Thomas is out. Now, Jalen McCleskey is standing out at practice. I mean, throw the names in a hat and pick one out. And
oof. Alvin Kamara will be the starting running back and wide out for the New Orleans Saints.
I still think Traquan Smith is
injured.
He's hampered. But I think he'll start the season. I think he'll be the
Adam
wide receiver
Troutman,
one.
Sleeper.
No, I disagree.
At tight end.
Also, I
disagree with what part? That he's a sleeper or that you should take him?
Both.
You don't think he's a sleeper?
No.
Do you think people are high on him?
I think he's going to be like a Kyle Rudolph of the league, where he'll get
occasional touchdowns.
Yeah, 400 500-yard seasons and like 4, 5, 6 touchdowns at most.
However, the way this season is playing out, he could see more. I was also thinking that like if he is like very successful and later on they're doing post and preseason interviews with him, he's going to come out and be like, all my NFL career they kept calling me Troutman. My name's actually Trotman.
Yeah, for sure. That's a
Kels reference there. I like it.
Yeah. So there's
Travis
that, and then
Kelce.
Tyreek Hill apparently has knee tendinitis.
He's back.
So he's back.
Yeah, Moose. I wanted to talk about this on the live show yesterday. Tendinitis is not that bad. All tendinitis means is inflammation, and it can go away permanently. It's not like a debilitating. It's not like arthritis.
Yeah, but
tendinitis is just.
But it comes back.
It can, or you can do corrective exercises and physio, and it doesn't come back. It's not permanent.
I was pretty sure tendinitis was permanent.
No. I mean, if you have chronic tendinitis, then it's more serious. But all tendinitis means is inflammation of the joint. That's all it means. It's not. It doesn't have to be a big deal.
And then what we got into in the live show were what we were talking about. The later round QBs, because Joe Burrow and Baker Mayfield are struggling at camp. We did a little bit of would you rather. I mean, Joe Burrow was injured last season. He's getting into the swing of things. We know Mayfield is going to be on, then off. We know he's not a very consistent quarterback. He's not flashy, so he will struggle. But I think Cleveland will be fine. I think Cincinnati will be fine. I think Joe Burrow is super talented and smart enough, has a good football IQ. I'm not worried about them. But
Moose
there are
Googling
people that I will draft over them.
Moose is WebMDing tendinitis. You want something to tell us?
No, I pulled up the Lamar Jackson thing.
Oh, okay.
What is he new era 8? Is that Lamar Jackson?
That is him. Yeah.
So that is he tweeted or Instagrammed himself getting his hair done. And now the Ravens are back in full effect because he had his hair done.
What do you mean?
Well done. He is wearing a mask though. I don't know. That's what he wrote.
Okay. Oh, okay. I like it. All right, guys. Can we move into our Reddit segment? You guys ready?
Well, I don't know. We got one more COVID related thing.
Oh, what is it?
Kirk Cousins.
Oh.
Would rather build plexiglass around his locker and somehow keep a 2-meter distance from everyone on the team. I don't know if he's thought it through because I don't know how he's going to keep 2-meter distance from everybody in the huddle.
Well, I mean, his balls usually keep a 2-meter distance from his receivers when he throws them to him. So he might be okay.
If you are if you're at all signed into social media for fantasy football, the media has already started tearing him apart. They just today, after he made that statement, they just started highlighting all the bad plays and all the worst things he's done in the NFL, and sort of ridiculing him a little bit. Basically stating that he's made the point that he is more concerned about Kirk Cousins than the Vikings.
Darn it.
That's probably what he said too.
Dang it.
Darn
tootin'. Whenever I think Kirk Cousins, I think of that, the no swearing, and I think of the audio clip from Justin Jefferson, the rookie Justin Jefferson last year, where he's like, throw the dang ball, Kirk. Or
his classic one where it's, you like that? You like that?
Yes. Yeah, that one.
So things are not looking so hot for Kirk.
Captain Kirk.
Maybe some good news for you, Moose, and your New England Patriots, because this brought up something that I saw today on Twitter. Cam Newton refused to answer vaccine question,
which I feel like that answers the question.
Exactly.
Like if you don't answer the question, like you've answered it. You have not been vaccinated.
No, Cam loves the drama so much that I could easily see him having been vaccinated, but just choosing to be like, I'm not answering that. It's personal.
So
that's Cam. Like, come on.
He said at the press conference, it's too personal to discuss it. I'll just keep it at that. So either he's just trolling or that just says everything.
Yeah, no, I get it, because I think with the 50-50 split of how people feel about the vaccine, I think it's safer for them in the media's eye to just not say anything, because then nobody can give them a hard time on either side of the opinion, which is probably what most of the quarterbacks or players in general are opting to do, so that they won't get written up anywhere. However, I briefly saw that Mac Jones was doing a little better in camp than Cam.
Progress is good.
Great for Mac. It's good. It's good. It's good. Go Patriots. All right. We ready?
Yes.
It's time for They Said It on Reddit.
Oh.
Beautiful.
This time holding.
He held both ears. They're
new headphones. New headphones.
Oh, so, there you go.
Yeah, I got our new Logitech headphones. Not a sponsor.
All right. So this one's coming from user Gunther McMillan. Who you riding with as your RB2 from these options? Half PPR. Really tough decision personally. Probably give the edge to Mixon because of the fact that he will be a true workhorse with Bernard gone. Just got to stay healthy. What do y'all think? So the other options he gave are Swift and Dobbins. So it's Swift, Mixon, or Dobbins.
Okay, but that's also not true, because it's like there are other competent running backs in Cincinnati that will replace Bernard.
But I don't think it'll be I don't think the backfield will be shared. I really do think Mixon will have majority of touches.
Yes.
So I think that's what he's getting at. We all know that Mixon does have health issues and
already dealing with ankle issues.
So somebody will have to step up.
I know they came out and said, sorry, Anthony, I know they came out and said DeAndre Swift could be the bell cow back. Someone said that.
Yes.
But we already know how Anthony Lynn, new offensive coordinator with the Lions, feels about running backs and veteran running backs and Jamal Williams. He loves Jamal Williams. We all love Jamal Williams. So Swift does have some competition there. And then J.K. Dobbins has Gus Edwards and Lamar Jackson, as you mentioned, Moose. So there's more competition there, more than Joe Mixon has.
Yeah. And I get that. But I think so I'm picking Dobbins. Swift, I don't really trust Detroit. I think I'm very high on Jamal Williams. Talks in the offseason were, like you mentioned, Dave, back and forth with Jamal Williams and will they share, and Swift, is he a true workhorse back and all this. There's too much flip-flopping over there for me to trust. I have Swift pretty low compared to, I guess, a lot of people that put up their rankings, and I have Mixon very low too. I'm going to pull it up for you guys here, but I want to hear.
Let me put it to you like this. When you think of the Cincinnati offense, who are you thinking of?
Joe Burrow and the receivers.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I think T. Higgins first. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And Jamar Chase.
Okay, and when you think of the Ravens, what offense are you thinking of?
Lamar Jackson and J.K. Dobbins.
And when you hear Detroit, who's your offense? It's T.J. Hawkinson, and then likely Swift and Jamal Williams.
I really like Jamal Williams. So don't forget Amon-Ra St. Brown. Don't forget about Amon-Ra.
Well, yeah, but he's a rookie, so temper expectations. So if we're thinking about workload, I mean, it's going to be Swift.
But workload. So I like the way you're thinking about it, Moose, because you're thinking about offensive weapons as a whole, which is a good way to broaden your horizons when you're looking at fantasy options. Is look at like if you look at Kansas City, look at offense as a whole, and it goes Kelsey, Hill, right? Mahomes is obviously awesome. And then Clyde Edwards-Helaire, right? And you work your way down that way. So I like that strategy, but still, I think I have to look at Swift sharing running back touches with Jamal Williams a little bit.
Okay, but that difference is not going to be as much as the 3 wide receivers taking from Joe Mixon.
But let me explain.
And they obviously want to have
sure
an
it
air
is,
game.
because if you're getting 100% of 20 running back touches, it's still more than 50% of 30 running back touches on Detroit.
So
right. So even if they're using their running back position more, but it's split, it's not the same as Mixon, who's going to get basically all of it.
That's the split. Like I just don't think that Cincinnati's going to have that much of a run game. I think they're going to be. They obviously want to be a pass heavy team.
You got to run the ball. Yes, but you still got to run the ball, and you're going to pass to Joe Mixon too.
But my point is, Detroit is very clearly wants to be a run heavy team.
Well, okay. So what they want to be and what they will be is different. So this is basically what I was, how I'm looking at it. So I'm less looking at the teams like who's the first person I'm thinking of. I know Baltimore Ravens, they have issues with the passing game, and Lamar Jackson is going to run, but they're strong on defense and they're a run heavy team. So the offense is going to move with the run game. Yes, Lamar Jackson will probably vulture some touchdowns and yardage, but I do think the two of them could live cohesively. And Dobbins can still be an effective running back, more so than Swift, because yes, all they really have is the run game. But when you're as bad as the Detroit Lions, you don't run that much when you're behind. And yes, Swift is a above average receiving back, but when you're playing from behind, I mean, for us, it looks like it's just a dead zone for receivers, but they'll have no choice to throw the ball to whatever receivers they have. And Swift is not going to be the main receiving option there. So they're going to be playing from behind a lot. So that's what drops him behind Dobbins for me. And Mixon, I know a lot of people are high on Mixon, and yes, they do have to run the ball through him and there's nobody else. But I just think that Baltimore runs the ball so effectively, you can't ignore Dobbins, even with Gus Edwards there.
It's a good point that Anthony brings up. And just if your offense is terrible, it's terrible. Like if it's not moving the ball, there's not that much opportunities. So, how many, like we see, I think about James Robinson last year, so that could be a good example because Jacksonville was not great and playing from behind, but he got like 90% of the running back touches and dominated, right? So, if Swift turns into that, then that can be really good.
He was also a unique situation because compared to the other top end running backs, James Robinson's attempts were much less than some of the big name guys. So he did a lot with a little, but it's not necessary. Like not every running back will be like that. Yeah. We don't know if Swift isn't an efficient runner with less attempts. You have Jamal Williams there. I think depending on who their matchup is, they might go more towards Jamal Williams one game.
And the other key to, like, you want your top 2 running backs. This is an RB2 question, meaning your second running back on your team. Yeah. You want your top running back options to be catching passes as well. So, which Swift can do, but are they going to throw to him? That's the other question.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I go Dobbins as well. I got a soft spot for Dobbins, so I'm biased, but I go Dobbins in this question. Moose, who's your answer?
I'm going Swift.
That's fair. But none of us go Mixon. We're all turned off.
Yeah,
Mixon,
and the poll has Mixon winning by Mixon has 35 votes, Dobbins 18, and Swift 14.
For me, like what he tweaked his foot or whatever, and it was pretty much out all season. He's already tweaked his ankle.
Yeah.
So he obviously doesn't heal quick.
And he was struggling last season before getting injured. He struggled for like 4 or 5 weeks. Then he had one breakout crazy game, like 30 points.
But I think he finished the season strong.
Yeah, that's not to say he's not talented. He's obviously very talented. By all rights, you could take him, but I think it just comes with way too much risk.
And the only thing that I'll give it to the guy or the people voting for Mixon. So like Dave just mentioned again, it's RB2. So if he is the only running back there, and it's kind of like when we talk about these receivers, like you were saying, Golladay, if there was not these injury issues, if he's going so late, he's a wide receiver 1. Like he's automatically there. Mixon,
RB1?
Sorry, wide receiver 1. But Mixon is clearly the RB1, and nobody is going to take his job. So
I wouldn't be so sure.
I'm pretty sure about that, but I'm still not taking him.
If he's not healthy, I think he could lose pretty quick.
Oh, if he's not healthy, for sure. But I think people are okay taking the gamble on a guy that's 100% the starter as the RB2, because if he doesn't get injured, then it's like, hey, I got two guys that aren't going to be overtaken by somebody.
And the other thing is all running backs get hurt. Every NFL player gets hurt. That's the only league with a 100% injury rate. And running backs especially get hurt. Some bounce back to just as good as they were before. Some don't. You know, off the top of my head, Dalvin Cook, first 2 seasons in the league, quite a few injuries, right? And it really turned people off. Then he bounces back, and he's the best running back in the league. Alvin Kamara, you know, struggled with a little bit of knee injuries. 1 year, comes back, and he's the top running back in fantasy.
Okay, but we know that Joe Mixon doesn't bounce back like that.
Well, why? He's still a very young career.
Yeah, but he didn't bounce back like last season. Like I don't think he's in that category of bounce back. That's my opinion.
He's not as good as Dalvin Cook or Alvin Kamara, but I think he could easily bounce back with a healthy season.
I mean, he's pretty low, so I mean, it won't take much for him to be better than running back 49. He just has to stay healthy. He played 6 games last year. I mean, it's not good.
No, I don't want that as my RB2.
Moose is not mixing it up with Joe.
Sorry,
not
Joe.
Mixing it up with
Sorry, Joe. I bought into you last season, and unfortunately, those feet injuries were just didn't cut it.
No, a couple of feet short. All right, guys. Well, that was great Reddit. Thanks, Anthony.
You're welcome.
I have been enjoying not a beer tonight, gentlemen, but I went to visit a Victoria cidery yesterday. I went to Sea Cider, it's called. I don't know if you guys are into cider, but it can be delicious. So I had this Ruby Rose Sea Cider. It was delicious. Great place. We've got to stop there. Great views. Moose and I have been to a few ciders in our day.
Yeah, a couple of cider mills. Is that what they call them?
Oh, yeah. I think they're just called cideries.
I think they're called cider mills.
Okay. Or cider house. This one's called a cider house.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see what a cider mill is.
Yeah, a mill. I don't know about mill.
Oh, a cider mill, also known as a cidery, is a location and equipment used to crush apples into apple juice or used in the making of apple cider.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So there you go.
Sure. Yeah, we're both right. What are you guys drinking?
But a cider mill is like the real name, also known as a cidery.
Everyone calls it cidery. Just saying. No one says I'm going to the mill. Let's go to the cider mill for some drinks. What are you guys having?
I'm having a Corona.
Oh,
made
classic little summer beer. Classic summer beer.
Yeah, made in a brewery.
Yeah, but most people know them as brew halls.
A brew mill.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm having a Bitburger.
Oh, Dankeschön.
Dankeschön.
Yeah.
Wait, what did I say I was having? I said I was having a Corona, right? Did I say that?
Did. You said it correctly. You said it correctly.
I was like, wait a minute. Did I even say what the beer was? Or did I just say I'm having a beer made in a brewery?
You said it. It's made in a brewery. Otherwise known as an oats and barley masher. That's what most people call it. Oh, awesome. Hey, I guess by almost this time next week, Moose, I'll be like recording live with you. Same building. And we'll all be on the same time zone. It's going to be wild. So I'm coming back home for a visit, finally.
Do we just make it a triple? Like, do we just all do it in the same place?
Triple threat. It'd be cool if we can all just get on the same screen, too. We'd have to share a mic, though. We'd have to, If you guys are on YouTube, you got to come watch us on YouTube so you can see all this action.
Why would we have to share a mic?
No, I'm just joking. We wouldn't. Or would we?
None of you know how the microphones work, so it would probably just be one mic, and we would all be in front of one camera awkwardly. Really close. I do really awkwardly. Close together.
I do awkwardly. Well, or just like you see Moose as you are now on the screen, and then when one of us wants to talk, we just come from off screen. Our head just pops up. You're like, actually, Moose, it's called a cidery.
I'll stand up, and then somebody sits down and retorts, and then we just keep rotating into the chair.
All right, that sounds good. Anthony, you won't be with us on Sunday's episode, correct? You're going on vacation?
So I'll be on vacation for Sunday's episode, Wednesday's live show, and Thursday's episode next week. So 3 episodes or 3 sessions. I won't be there.
I've no Anthony. Well, enjoy your vacation. I mean, you got to get your vacay in before we start the regular season. So
right.
Hold down the fort while you're gone.
But whatever topics you guys talk about, I'll send in my results if you do something specific like rankings or whatever. But if it's news, I mean,
I think I know a pretty good cider mill in PEI.
The old mill.
Yeah.
All right. Any words of wisdom before we depart, guys? Oh, by the way, pop culture stuff. I'll start.
Okay. Yep.
Saw Jungle Cruise. On the this past weekend. You know, I'm a big rock fan. I like fun movies. It's what you would expect. Not great, but what you would expect. So I went in with the right expectations, guys. But
what are we to expect?
Yeah, like a light Disney film with some fun adventure and
so princesses and magic.
No princesses. But Emily Blunt does a fantastic job. She's great.
Okay, but what kind of movie is
Emily
it?
Blunt?
It looks like Jumanji.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is it a Jumanji ripoff somehow with also The Rock?
Well, so the way the movie Jungle Cruise was originally a ride in Disneyland, it is a ride, and then there's a backstory to it, and they created a whole movie off of the ride, which is kind of a cool concept, as they do in Disney. It has, thankfully, they stole from other Disney films, but it has a lot of Pirates of the Caribbean vibe to it, a lot of the Mummy, original Mummy with Brandon Fraser.
Classic.
Brandon Fraser has a lot of those vibes. And there was another movie it reminded me of, but I have forgotten. But it has a lot of those vibes. And The Rock, I love The Rock, but he just plays himself. He's just really just Dwayne The Rock Johnson saying lines up there. But it was fun. And I saw it in D-Box. And this is, I've always avoided D-Box. But I remember the original time I went to D-Box, Moose, Anthony, in the theaters in our hometown, Point Claire. Not really your hometown, Anthony, but close enough. And I remember, I guess I went to the D-Box that they were testing out D-Box because I just remember the chair shaking. It just vibrated. And I was like, this is a complete waste of money. This D-Box, I guess, is the new improved D-Box. It throws you around. There's like 3 settings and I got nauseous on the thing. So like you're supposed to be on the boat in the Jungle Cruise and it's moving around. I had to turn it off. I got kind of nauseous. I put it back on after, but it's wild. Still not worth the price, but it's the D-Box is wild. So anyways, you guys can go see Jungle Cruise.
Probably won't.
I think I'm good. I think your review is all I needed.
Okay, well, you're welcome. What about you guys? Any words of wisdom or anything to watch?
Trying to think if I started watching the Justice League. The what's his name? Daniel Snyder.
The Snyder Cut.
Yeah, geez, I forgot it was 4 hours long. It's
good though. It's way better.
I don't know. I mean, the acting,
way better than the first Justice League.
The acting is so bad.
It's just still not a good movie. I mean, they made upgrades to it, but I mean,
it's not. The heroes, they're so unbelievable. It's like they don't feel like the Marvel heroes,
right?
I mean, it's a fun ride. Like, it's a really cool effects, and the visuals are nice. But it's hard like, to believe that the world is in peril,
compared to Marvel, or compared to the original comics, it doesn't do it justice.
Even some of the original, even all the other Batman movies are way better than it.
Yeah.
It just there's the heroes. It doesn't feel like they need to be there. The world just gets destroyed. Let's see Darkseid shoot some lasers from his eyes already and get her over with in an hour and a half.
So that was my complaint about the movie. Like, everybody's like, oh, it's so much better. I'm like, but everybody's seen the original one or the first version, and then they throw in a bunch of cool things that it doesn't matter that you threw them in because they're not continuing it. I mean, I know there's the Flash movie, but I mean, it doesn't matter. Like putting in Darkseid and then throwing in some other characters, it doesn't matter. So it's like, oh, you made it cool. Like, well, what is the phrase? You can put makeup on a pig, but it's still a pig, or what is it?
Well, it's just the world. The world feels so empty. Like there's nobody. Yeah. There's no like nobody is in peril. Like these guys come to Earth in these barren wastelands or oceans where there's like 5 people. So like 5 people die, and you're like, oh, okay. I guess the rest of the civilization is fine. Unfortunate for these 5 guards who were protecting the most dangerous thing in the world. Only 5 of them were there.
And that's the hilarious thing, because the Superman movie, it was like they destroyed everything. Whereas this, it's like the bad guy needs to, Steppenwolf, he needs to go to like a secluded area with nobody and build this whole like empire. Yeah. And like,
nobody's at risk. Everybody's fine.
Yeah.
Anthony, I believe the expression is you can bring a pig to the cider mill, but you can't make him drink. Yeah. All right, gentlemen. Any words of wisdom as we sign off, besides pop culture references?
Just, always put your best foot forward. And today was definitely 295 Kelvin.
Yeah.
Was it? So you were wearing sunscreen?
It was hot. I went outside taking care of my parents' dog. I went to take dog for a walk. Even early this morning at like maybe even like 9 o'clock, and the sun was beating down. So definitely get on that sunscreen.
Well, you heard it here first. Get on the sunscreen. Listen to your Steppenwolf albums. Don't watch Justice League. All great stuff. Is that Steppenwolf?
It sure is.
Oh, great. All right, guys. Well, listeners, as always, thanks for listening. See you next time.
Ciao.